So here's something just really quick. It's something I wanted to get out there, especially if you are looking to replace a key for a newer style Chrysler key fob such as this. This is the one to my 300, which I still haven't shot a video on because my foot's still healing and I don't feel like walking around it too much. But anyways, I went to my local Chrysler dealer and I paid local dealership prices. And I was told on the phone that it would be $190 plus $60 to program it. So roughly $250. They want to be in like $248. Never in that entire conversation did she mention that it doesn't have the insert. This is the key that activates the door locks, and I believe I'm not sure, on Fords there was a cover that you could pop off and use this to turn the ignition to unlock the steering wheel if the transponder has got a dead battery. It will still see this fob even with the dead battery, but it doesn't transmit, so it won't unlock. It will just disable the alarm when you have a dead battery. So I noticed it only after I got near my house, because on top of not being told it didn't come with the insert, it was all the way at my house before I noticed and pulled this key fob out of my pocket or out of the center console, because they had driven the car around the building. And that was nice of them because I'm on crutches, but it also meant that I didn't notice for a longer period of time after I'd already gone to get breakfast. So needless to say, I was a little frustrated by that. And then I called and got voicemail. And I live a mile from the dealership, so I just went to the dealership. Screw breakfast. It's cold now. Oh, yeah, and thank you at McDonald's for getting the hash browns in my breakfast meal. Because, why not have one of those days? I'm pretty sure the doctor or the nurse, when they come over today, is going to unwrap my foot, and it's going to have a bacterial formed badger in there playing the maracas. Anyways, back to this. So I went back, and the service writer was on the phone with somebody else, so I wound up standing there for nearly 10 minutes waiting for somebody to help me, when a nice service advisor stepped in, the one that actually drove the car around, so yay, good for that, and asked me what was going on. And I calmly informed them that I understood that I was paying dealership prices, but also I sold cars for nearly 20 years, and near the end of the run we were selling Fords and Chevys that had fobs with inserts, and at $200 the Ford key fobs came with the inserts. So did the Chevys, actually, although Chevy didn't do much with inserts, but Ford did more on the Fusions specifically. They had a big key insert in those as well. And I explained it to her, and I said, had you told me that, I would have just gotten a third-party key fob, because this is just a second key that I didn't even really need or want, but we got anyways for the car, just in case somebody's taking it long distance. They have two key fobs in case they misplace one or lose one. Fair enough. And I said I would have gotten a blank one with a blank insert, because since this is not a transponder key, the transponder's in the key fob, this has a standard Chrysler cut. This cut on here is one of 4 that Chrysler uses on every single vehicle. In fact, we used to win cars all the time back in the day. Intrepids, Chrysler Concords, 300Cs, all those cars from back in the day, or 300Ms, excuse me, you could take a box of these keys and you could just try them. Basically, I only had 2 keys. I had a locksmith cut me 2 keys with 1 cut on each side of the key, and one of 4 cuts always unlocked a Chrysler family vehicle. So I could have had this key cut anywhere, on top of which I have the other one, which they could have just patterned on it, because again, this part isn't programmed, this is. And I could have bought an aftermarket key fob, or even a used key fob, because they can be reprogrammed for like $60 or $70. I would have had the insert and the key fob for $70, and this would have cost me $5 to get a locksmith to recut and $60 to program it. So it would have been half the cost, and it would have been a complete key. So I mentioned that to her, and I said, look, I have other vehicles. I don't keep my cars long, but we have other Chrysler vehicles that need to come in for service, and I want to continue to come here because, and I was pulling out my card to pay for it, and she, at that point, understood my level of frustration and then said, okay, I'll take care of it. So what is the moral of this story? Number 1, if you're going to replace the key fob on a Chrysler, understand that they don't give you the insert. You have to pay extra for it. Number 2, make sure you ask that question. And number 3, find a service writer that actually does their job. It's difficult. Some service writers are afraid to tell somebody that there's added cost. Because here's another thing. Had they told me that the insert and the fob were separate, I would have paid the extra money under the assumption that I was getting a better service for my 3 times more expensive key. So they did wind up stepping up and taking care of it, and she ate the cost of the insert and the cut for the key. So thank you very much for that. I did advise them not to send me a survey, because even though she did her part, I can't give them a good survey. So that was the other thing. Not going to tell you the name of the dealership. It's a local dealership. It's a Chrysler dealership. And unfortunately, it's a widespread thing with service departments in many dealerships around the world. And again, you got to find that one person or two people in every dealership that actually know what they're doing and take care of you. Once you do that, lock onto them and stay with them. Or you do third-party stuff, because I know how to program these too. I could have done that, but I figured it's a nice car. Chrysler can do it. New key fob, new key, just get it done. So let me know if you've had a similar problem where you've gone in to do it. Leave it in the comment. Let me know if you have a good writer. Typically, for most of the things that I don't do myself, I normally take it to a third party or an aftermarket service station. There's one in my area. I have to talk to them, see if they'll let me mention them in a video without getting angry. I doubt they'll get angry, because they do good work and I've brought them many customers. But yeah, let me know if you have good experiences, if you go to the dealer at all, if you avoid it like the plague, or just your horror stories. And if it's a cool story, I'll put it up on screen. So that's it. Short one today. Firearm video tomorrow, and it will be the At the Range with the Sarshmalls. So I'll talk to you later.